teach you how to play Nexus Ops. Nexus Ops is a streamlined sci-fi conquest game where players are vying for control over territory. The game ends as soon as one player reaches 12 victory points, with that player winning the game, or as soon as any player is eliminated. A player is eliminated when that player has no more units on the board and no way to get more units on the board. At that point, the player with the most victory points among the remaining players wins the game. Nexus Ops comes with a number of vibrant components. Each player will receive an identical army composed of 6 different unit types. In addition, each player will get a battle card going over the units in a little more detail. At the top, you'll see the names of all the units, and below that, claw icons denoting whether or not the unit can mine rubium. If the unit has a claw icon, it can. Below that, you'll see the cost and rubium of each unit in orange, and next to that in blue, you'll see the number that the unit has to roll to hit in combat. For instance, a human has to roll a 6 or better when rolling to attack. And below that, each unit has some sort of special qualities. And at the bottom, you'll see a nice phase overview as a reminder for each player. In addition, the game comes with a number of energized cards. These cards come in 2 main flavors: deployment cards, which must be played during the deployment phase, and battle cards, which of course will influence combats. The game has a number of hexes that can be interchanged to form the main battle map, and exploration tokens that are placed on the hexes and either reveal rubium mines or rock striders. These mines can be mined for rubium ore during that phase, and the striders, when revealed, will immediately go into that player's reserve and be deployed for that player. In addition, the game has a number of secret mission cards. Again, these come in 2 flavors, the non-combat and the combat objectives, and a number of identical battle victory cards, which are essentially used to just track basic VP. Finally, the game has rubium chips in 5s and 1s, and dice to resolve combats. To set up a game of Nexus Ops, first randomly determine the starting player and give each player a different color of army. Then, shuffle the energized deck and the secret mission deck and place them to the side of the board. Now you're ready to build the map. Place the monolith tile in the center and the 6 single hex tiles in a circle around it. Then, take the double hex tiles and place them in a circle around that. Finally, take the 4 player bases and set them in the 4 corners. Note that this is a setup for a 4-player game, and setting it up for a different number of players will have the map looking a little different. Then, you'll place the exploration tokens, all face down, on every tile except the monolith and the player base tiles. Finally, you'll receive starting rubium. The player who will start the game receives 8 rubium, and each subsequent player receives an additional 3. So the first player will receive 8, the second player will get 11, the third 14, and the final player will get 17 starting rubium. Once you've received your initial resources, you're ready to begin the game. Nexus Ops is played out in turns, and each turn is broken down into 6 phases. The first phase of the turn is deployment. In this phase, you'll spend rubium that you've acquired previously in order to purchase new units, and you'll place them in any of your 3 starting zones. Each unit costs an amount depicted on your battle chart. For instance, humans cost 2 rubium each. You are limited by the units in your stock, but when units are destroyed, they go back into your stock to be repurchased. Then, you'll move into the movement phase. In the movement phase, you can move each of your units 1 hex each. Some units, such as the Rock Strider and Lava Leaper, can move additional spaces with their special abilities. You cannot move a unit either from a contested hex into another contested hex, or from a contested hex into another hex controlled by your opponent. In other words, you can't move from one battle into another battle during this phase. Then, you'll conduct exploration. In the exploration phase, you will flip over any still unrevealed exploration tokens that are in spaces with your units. This means that as you first start to explore the map, you'll find lots of stuff. After that, you won't be exploring for very long. When you flip over a token, you'll see either a Rock Strider, a double mine, or a mine with another unit. If you flip a Rock Strider, you'll simply discard the token and take a rock strider from your supply and place it in that space. If you have a mine and a unit, such as a fungoid or a crystalline creature, you will place one of those units in the appropriate space, just like the rock strider, and in future turns, or even in this turn, you'll be able to mine that single mine as long as you have appropriate troops on it. The same holds true for the double mine, it just gives you more rubium when you do mine it. After that, you'll enter the battle phase. In the battle phase, you'll conduct one battle in each contested hex. A contested hex is a hex containing troops from more than one player. When you conduct battle, you will do so in battle order. It's important to note that a battle does not continue until all troops are destroyed necessarily. Each type of troop, or each troop actually, will attack one time and then the battle will end. This means that a battle can end with a hex still being contested. The units will attack in battle order from right to left. So a rubium dragon will attack, and then a lava leaper, and so on and so forth. If both players have units of the same type, they'll attack simultaneously. So for instance, if I have a rubium dragon in the same hex as an opponent's rubium dragon, we'll each roll their attacks at the same time and resolve casualties one at a time. When you resolve casualties, the player who is receiving the damage will choose one unit from the battle to be destroyed. If this unit has not yet attacked, then the unit will not have an opportunity to do so. Of course, the units only hit on the rolls shown on the chart. After battle, if the player who was the aggressor, in other words, the player whose active turn it was, eliminated all enemy units from that hex, then he has won the battle. If there were multiple enemies in the same hex, for instance, if I have units in the same hex as both the blue and the yellow player, and I'm playing red, then I choose to conduct battle with only one of the two players and ignore the other player. If I wipe out only the player of the color that I'm battling with, I'm considered to have won the battle as the aggressor. If you win the battle as the aggressor, you automatically receive one battle victory card, which is one victory point towards completing your goal, and you can play up to one secret mission card, assuming you've met the requirements, from your hand. If you win a battle as the defender, then you do not get to draw these cards. That means if you're a defender and wipe out opposing attackers, you won't get the points. However, the defender who is wiped out instead may draw one energized card as a reward. Next up is the mining phase. After you've conducted all battles, all of your units with the claw icon, that's the first three, can mine rubium from the mines they're standing on. It doesn't matter how many units of this type you have on an individual mine, it will only produce the number in the triangle. After mining rubium, you will go onto the draw phase. In the draw phase, you will simply draw one secret mission card and place it in your hand. And if you happen to have a unit on the monolith, that's the center space, you'll draw two energized cards. You only get these energized cards if you were on the obelisk, or monolith, and it is uncontested. Now you know how to play Nexus Ops.